It's the audio button?
It's on. No one can hear me, though, right?
No. Well, yeah.
Unless I'm screaming.
Are we going to do like we did last time, awkward 5-minute video pre-show?
No, that's the point, to stop doing that.
Or if you could move a little to this way so I don't see myself so much.
All right.
Just
So
kidding.
we good,
Stay
Mandy?
centered. Stay centered.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'll try. Shoot, my
I'm
coffee's
Jonah
almost
Heim,
gone.
and you're listening to Section 336.
You guys are on, like...
Section 336.com. Buckle up, birds, be ready to ride. Your host, Matt Josh and Bird, are ready to fly. Baltimore's best, Section 336, the #1 sports broadcast. Get your fix. What's the news? Let's talk about Buck, our favorite Orioles. What's the latest lineup? Home runs and stolen bases. This is a trip. Stay tuned in at 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, the next generation of Baltimore sports talk. I am your dearly stuttering host, Matt Sroka. As always, I'm joined by the zany Burt Rohde.
I just want to make it known to the 336ers listening out there who aren't watching the live video feed that I'm proudly wearing the jersey of our home team, the Baltimore Ravens, tonight, the only NFL jersey I will ever wear.
It's because it's an Ed Reed jersey. Where's someone currently on the team?
Does Suggs count?
No, he's
It's
hurt.
a Super Bowl jersey. Also, we won the Super Bowl.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate you wearing that. And
I love supporting the home team.
absolutely, we're all about that. We're Baltimore guys.
We're purple and black, baby.
Absolutely. We're also joined by the button lover, Josh Sroka.
Yeah, because I pulled out a Redskin jersey for about 2 minutes on Sunday.
Did you put it on your body?
I did, and then I took it right off
All
and
right,
said, "This
yeah,
is
yeah.
weird."
Cut you off right there.
Before you guys go at it, can I introduce the fourth person at the seat? Because it's not the intern.
You don't have to.
All right, we're
I
joined by
would rather. Where is Kashmir from Led Zeppelin? That's what I wanted to hear at the beginning instead of that, whatever that. But you guys got theme music. That's cool.
Yeah, man.
A little bit.
If you pay $5, anyone will make a theme song for you.
Oh,
You could
okay.
have everyone could have their own personal
Right. Okay.
theme songs. Yeah.
It should have. Mine would have Kashmir. at
That's
the
right.
very
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
To each their own.
You'll have to come back.
Yeah.
We're also
we'll
joined
be better prepared.
by Drew Forrester. Drew, where we're happy to have you. You have big shoes to fill because usually that's where our world's worst intern sits.
Okay.
And he usually says,
Instead, she's over there in the corner.
yeah. Well, no,
I'm kidding.
that is not the intern.
Okay.
That is not the intern. Our intern, the world's worst intern. He put a classic world's worst intern.
That's why he's the worst.
Yeah, like he got his name for a reason.
Yes. Yeah, I think, Josh, you tried calling and texting multiple times.
For like 3 days.
I tried like 20 minutes ago, and then he responded just before we went on the air saying, "Sorry, I'm sick. I can't make it tonight. I just woke up." This is at 7:30 p.m., mind you.
Yeah, yeah.
Poor
Josh,
guy.
Josh, did he ever text you back?
No.
Only me. I'm told he looks up to me. I don't know.
I told him, get here at 7 o'clock tonight so I can teach you how to run the cameras.
Right.
Nothing.
No response.
But
He's
so
the worst.
and when you have your lovely wife is taking over the
Yeah, she ran it
duties.
last week. She's running it again this week.
Okay, and it took you it looks like about 2 minutes to explain how to use the cameras, but it would have taken you about 30 minutes to teach the intern. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Something you
Yes.
could teach Mandy in about
Yes.
2 minutes. All right, so let's get to the bottom of this, and maybe Drew could split you guys up when you guys go at it and fight. So Bert, you have an issue with Josh promoting the Redskins,
So-
right? So Josh, defend your
here's
position
what I decided.
on wearing. Hold up, you wore a Cooley jersey
For
as
about
you
2
watched the
minutes.
Redskins game. Okay,
Here's-
just
I'll
go,
explain
Josh.
it.
I want to hear this.
Indianapolis. Half my friends, half people I know are Redskin fans. Never, for some reason this year, I said, "Oh, Kirk Cousins." He's on all the highlights. Kirk Cousins looks good. I'm going to root for Kirk Cousins. I've got this autographed Cooley jersey I've had for years. So I put it on, and immediately it felt awkward, so I took it off. And then I watched the Redskins game, saw Kirk Cousins actually play more than just highlights, and realized there's no reason to cheer for Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
So
What about
So
all
who are you
the?
a fan of?
who am I a fan of? Ravens.
You're a fan of the Ravens.
Fan of the Ravens.
Are you okay
We're-
with a
we're-
Ravens fan? All of a sudden, the Ravens having a bad year.
we-
Redskins have one good year. He's throwing in the jersey.
I
He's
think
posting on Facebook.
I knew it would make
Go
some people
Redskins
happy.
or something.
Are you related?
You want to
Yeah, we're
see,
brothers.
we're brothers.
Yeah, you're brothers.
We were raised half our lives in Baltimore before moving out here to Annapolis. And we were raised to hate Washington because they were keeping Baltimore from getting a football
right, sure.
team.
I mean, all the old stuff, right?
So, yeah, but...
I'm a Capitals fan,
I'm
not anti-Washington, And I'm just anti-Redskins.
And I'm a fan of the Wizards,
Although
right?
I do like their uniform.
Right, you like the Wizards.
Yeah.
I'm anti-Nationals, and especially Bryce Harper, but...
Yeah, but a lot of that has to do with we have our own
Yes.
baseball team, we have our own football team.
Yes,
Right.
different divisions.
Right, we do have our own football team.
Different divisions. The Ravens have been like crap this year, so I thought I'd give the Redskins a chance for a
You
couple
just can't
minutes.
give another team a chance, especially when they're a rival. You just can't do.
I don't-
You can't give them a
I don't
chance.
know.
It's not a
That-
thing.
but
The only way it's
that a thing?
passable a little bit is that they're in the NFC. I mean, it's the only way it's, it's not passable,
But
it's close to passable.
But I would say even then, and listen, I don't hate Kirk Cousins. I kind of like him. I watch same videos. I read articles about him. I kind of like him. But I'm not going on Facebook. Even if secretly I may be saying, okay, go Kirk, go Redskins. I'm not posting that on Facebook. I'm not wearing a jersey and taking a selfie.
That's where you went wrong, Josh.
I'm closet
Nah.
cheering. I'm closet cheering.
There were no pictures of me in the Redskins jersey. I took the picture of it because, hey, I have an autographed Redskins jersey. I'll show it off. I also posted a picture of a screenshot of Matt texted me HTTR.
Which by the way.
Explain that.
Well, I don't need to defend it. It was a private text message.
All right,
When is
that's
it okay
true. Josh,
to take a
explain
private
that.
text message and post it on Facebook?
He did that to you?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's-
exploitation of privacy.
That's kind of not cool.
Yeah, and he took my hashtag completely out of context. I had hashtag HTTR, but it was out of context. You didn't see the whole thing. So he took a private text, posted it out of context on Facebook.
Well, here's the good news.
Yeah,
You're not going to worry about it this weekend.
That's true.
that's true.
Yeah. Now, if he shows up,
Matt requested this song.
And I didn't request it. And within about 5 minutes, a good friend of mine, Jimmy Dieterding, who's been on the show before, it was his profile pic. My name saying with the hashtag HTTR. It was his profile pic.
Oh, jeez.
And it was just it spread like wildfire.
now, if you
can't-
wear a Steelers jersey this weekend, then
That's not
He
happening.
probably has one.
that's
He's
it.
probably watching Big Ben audio saying, man, Big Ben, he's pretty cool.
I really like Antonio Brown. I don't care for the Steelers, but I like that player.
No. The neighborhood kid asked today who I'm cheering for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, who's
I
cheering for,
don't-
Josh?
I don't care.
Are
right
you going to
now.
wear a jersey?
I mean, I like Seattle. I'll cheer for Seattle.
Steve Smith had the best answer.
That's
When they
right.
asked him, who you rooting for this weekend, Bengals and Steelers? He said, I hope they both lose.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the only right answer.
Right.
Well,
Right.
and that almost happened.
Right?
Well, in a way, they did. Obviously,
Right.
we saw what happened with the Bengals, but with the Steelers losing Antonio Brown and most likely Ben Roethlisberger, they have lost too. So both teams did lose, really, in my opinion.
Well, that's a good way to look at it.
But
Now, is Brown, is he out for this game?
I heard it's unlikely.
Right, because that's the whole
Well,
concussion
that's,
test.
well, that's code word for he's playing.
right.
I mean,
maybe.
unlikely is he'll squeeze in there at the very last minute.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how he can play after that hit.
concussion protocols only exist during the regular season. When they're in the playoffs, they're a little more lenient.
Well, when when you have the combination of it's in the playoffs and you're a really good football player, that's when you can be a little.
And when you're on a
lenient.
team that does questionable stuff anyway. Now, did you think that was a touchdown catch? I don't understand the touchdown catch in that game. Was the guy flipping and moving the ball from his hands to the back of his leg to the other leg?
Martavis Bryant.
Yeah. I don't understand why that was called a touchdown when we've seen so many plays like that in non-meaningful games.
I thought it was
Caught
a
up.
catch.
I did
Did you?
too. I don't see the big controversy. I mean, he had it in his hand, and he had it in that
I
one
think
hand and
everything's
controlled
a
the whole
catch.
time.
I kind of think everything's a catch.
I like that.
Yeah. I tend
would
to go with that.
I would definitely. Oh, no doubt. If it passes the eyeball test, it's a catch. Like that's how I would look at it.
Sure.
Right.
I would just look in the thing and I would go, yeah, it's a catch.
Yeah.
It's more exciting if it's a catch.
I don't get all this other stuff about that made a football move, did this, caught that, fell, didn't have possession.
Did one quarter of an
arm.
inch
Yeah, I mean,
sniff one blade of grass.
Right.
Yeah.
I would just, they're all catches to me.
Yeah.
Like if you catch it, if it doesn't jump out of your hand, it's a catch.
We know what a catch is, right?
Yeah, that's like what was the old what was the guy, the Supreme Court justice who said they were trying to define pornography, and he said, I don't know how to define it, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah. It's the same idea. Yeah,
right.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing about the pornography case was, that was his big statement. I don't know exactly how to define it, but I know if I see it. I don't know how you define a catch, but when that guy catches it, I go, he caught it.
Yeah.
I thought he caught that ball.
I did too.
I thought they all like the Calvin Johnson thing 2 or 3 years ago. That was a catch.
Oh, yeah.
And Des Bryant more
that
recently.
was definitely
Right.
a catch.
Yeah, that's a
like,
catch.
Those guys all caught the ball.
Yeah.
It just
That's why they're spectacular.
Right.
Des Bryant, Calvin
Right.
Calvin Johnson. They're the best of the best.
Yeah.
It's a catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a couple big trips that are happening in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to mention.
Yeah, we
this.
kind of just jumped straight into football talk.
Reel us back in, Matt.
Yeah. I haven't even got to today on the show yet.
Sorry.
This is all the pre today on the show stuff. You guys are gonna just blow up. The first week we actually got good show notes. We're gonna blow them all up before we even get to the
That's
show.
what happens when one of our co-hosts wears a Redskins jersey.
I know.
You know, I told Mandy, I forgot. I did forget about the other part of that. It says to Josh, Chris Cooley. I don't need the thing. I emptied out the case that it was in to put the Matt Wieters jersey in. If someone wants a signed Chris Cooley jersey that says to Josh, they can have it.
Preferably somebody named Josh. He didn't
Right.
write your last name on it, right?
No, it
There
just
you
says
go.
to Josh.
Yeah. Now Josh spells his name with 2 S's, so that might mess up a couple people.
And it was a gift. I'd never requested it.
All right. Well, we do you guys want to talk about this spring training trip? We got
Sure.
coming
We
up?
are going back to spring training, section 336. Going back to warm and sunny Sarasota for our 3rd year of spring training coverage, you guys. We are going to be there March 5th through 7th. That's the first weekend in March 2016. We'll be catching a rare night game at Ed Smith Stadium against the Rays. This is our first spring training night game
Are we
that
sure,
we're
by the
going
way, the
to.
Orioles are actually going to have a team?
That's true. We haven't gotten tickets to these games yet because they're not
I'm
selling
not
them.
100% sure March the 5th they're going to even be playing.
It depends the definition of a team.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We'll be going down to Fort Myers on Sunday to catch the O's at the Red Sox facility, which we had just went there a couple years ago. We were talking about that pre-show. And lastly, we'll be back at Ed Smith Stadium that Monday afternoon to watch the Orioles play the Twins before flying back to what will be a frigid Baltimore evening. But if any of our listeners, any 336ers going to be down there the same time as us, hit us up. Let us know. We'd love to hang out. Meet up at Ed Smith Stadium. Maybe hit up the Sarasota night scene, which there is not much of.
We've attempted to experience with not much success.
We try every year.
Yeah. Wow. And this is a win for everybody because every time we go down there, we do a bunch of extra episodes. We got the cool interview, hopefully again with Trip Norton. We'll set that up, which is interesting now because there's been some GM moves, and this has been kind of a crazy offseason for the Orioles.
Yeah, we
Or
thought
maybe not
last
crazy enough.
offseason was something to talk
so,
about.
And you know I'm not afraid to ask the tough questions over here. so we'll do that interview again. And we put out videos. We did the Cribs.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, if you haven't seen the Cribs video, you can go. It's on our YouTube page, right, Josh? Section 336.
Yeah, our website, section336.com is everything.
Yeah, I was trying to plug the YouTube page so people would go over there and subscribe to the
Subscribe.
YouTube page.
All right.
And because every week now we are live and in color on section336.com and on YouTube via the link. Just go to section336.com.
Yeah.
Click on that link and you can watch us live.
The problem with those awkward questions of you when we sit down with Trip Norton is we're sitting.
Not awkward.
We're sitting.
Tough, hard hitting.
We're sitting in the big conference rooms of the Orioles Center, whatever it's called. We're around all the offices. We're in the conference room.
Yeah,
and you're asking about the loyalty of Dan Duquette while he's walking past the glass windows.
I don't care. And they try to intimidate you like that. They put you in this big conference room, this fancy all these fancy pictures, all these, all this artwork to try to intimidate you. I'm not intimidated. I don't care. I'm asking tough questions.
Yeah. Well, and I lied too about the nightlife in Sarasota because our first year we had an awesome time the one night out at Fin Daddy's, and then they went out of business. So now there's nowhere left to go.
Yeah, we drove
Our
out of business.
favorite Sarasota hotspot.
Well, I remember Fin Daddy. Someone took my hat. I'm still.
I vaguely remember Fin Daddy's,
determined
and that's
about that.
good.
But yeah, we're all set. We got the plane tickets. We got the haven't got the game tickets yet.
No, they're not. They're not for sale yet.
Yeah.
So still working on
Isn't
that.
that amazing?
But it's the
There aren't
Orioles.
tickets for sale yet.
Not even Camden Yards tickets.
Don't
There aren't any tickets for sale.
you think it's because they're afraid of the call of well, Chris Davis is still waiting. I'm going to still wait.
That's not.
I'll make the
That's
decision.
not why you
I'll
don't
make the
not
deci-
sell tickets.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
you
they're-
do.
they're-
You wait till you sign
Oh
someone.
no, that's what they're totally waiting to sign somebody to evaluate what they're going to charge.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
really?
I mean, it's
And-
1,000,000%.
And more people will respond faster if they're excited because we sign a big guy.
Well, if
But
they're
who
gonna-
cares if they respond now or they respond when you
'Cause
sign a guy?
Their payroll could be $140 or $145 million.
Right.
Right. Well, if their payroll goes up by $25 million, well, actually it would go up more than that. But if if it goes up by in the $25 to $30 million range, and they are doing whatever it was, 4 million or 2.3 million, they got to raise the prices.
So you're telling me at this point,
I shouldn't say that. They don't have to raise the prices because the TV money that comes in is getting added on. And they don't have to raise
and the Orioles
prices.
have been pretty good about raising prices.
Oh, yeah. They're going to raise the prices. Okay. They're not going to give, if they were to give Chris Davis $150 million, they're not giving him $150 million and then they pay for it themselves.
Okay, but if
that's not happening.
If the Orioles don't sign Chris Davis, and that means they'll probably not sign anybody. So are we going to tickets? Are games $1 to get in?
Gets a refund. Right. No, I just think they're waiting, and the drop dead date at some point has to be pretty soon. Like
spring training starts soon.
Say to Peter, hey, dude, don't know if you know this or not. It's January the 15th.
Yeah.
The season starts in 2.5 months, and we don't have a ticket out.
There are baseball players right now playing in Sarasota.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. So, I mean, I had a 29-game plan last year. I sent an email to my guy like right before Christmas. Hey, what's going on? He's like, I don't really know anything.
Well, I feel like it was this way last year too. That it was the same delay because they were trying to figure out what to do.
Was it this late though?
Yeah, because FanFest was the end of January.
Okay. Yeah,
and I remember going to FanFest and
that.
finally being able to find some stuff out.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
Did 2 years ago they had to wait till they started Nelson Cruz?
No.
Late in the game.
It was last year was the delay of are they going to raise prices because they actually started winning.
Yeah, from the comments of Buck Showalter, though, we could be waiting a little bit.
Yeah, but
there's a big rumor floating around, by the way, right now that the Rams and the Chargers are both going to Los Angeles.
Yeah,
right.
I heard
that they're announcing it tonight.
Oh, really?
Well, they were meeting to discuss it in Houston, right?
The Ram players have evidently received a text to say the announcement's going to be made tonight, and then there's like this other cloud out there where someone has said, and the players were told, you won't be going anywhere. So that would lead you, which is going to be kind of funny because the St. Louis owner took a leak all over St. Louis when in his application to go to L.A.
Yeah.
Right.
This place sucks. There's no money here.
It's going downhill.
The corporations won't support us, and now tonight they're going to go, hey, guess what? You guys are staying in St. Louis. It's going to be kind of funny.
Imagine being in that fan base.
But how funny is that? L.A. hasn't had a team for 15 years?
Right. And now,
mid-90s?
15 years. Yeah, longer than that, right?
Yeah.
20 years.
20 years, yeah.
Right.
And now they're going to have two teams in 2 hours.
Right. Well, they had two teams when we were kids.
Right.
So at one point they did support two teams. Then they went to one. Then they went to.
Right. I don't know that they ever. I have to remember, but I can remember when the Rams wore the blue helmet with the white stripe.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't remember if they ever really supported football in L.A. My thought was they didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know, but now they got two teams.
And
and the biggest issue obviously is they needed a stadium. Like no one's going to the games in the Coliseum. That's just, you got to have a place to play.
Right.
So, in the meantime, where are they going to play?
Right.
I guess that's the other question, right? They're going to announce these two teams tonight, if they do, and then where are these guys going to play?
And you assume once there is a stadium that they just share? Is that the deal?
I guess they're going to play in the Rose Bowl.
Right. They're going to be like New York
and just share every other.
But they.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They'll
they're
share.
going to play in the same stadium.
Right.
But they're going to have to play somewhere temporarily.
Right.
While the stadium is
It's just
built.
weird.
And how does that work? How does one choose which LA? Is there going to be like an East Side team and a West Side team? Like how does that? How does one choose which LA team?
The gangs will adopt one of the teams.
Yeah, and so
and
you
then
embrace
all the law abiders will adopt the other team.
Yeah, I think it's got something to do with the colors.
Well, I think traditionally the Crips wear the red. Right? Is it?
No, Bloods.
The Bloods wear the red, and the Crips wear the blue.
You know nothing about gangs.
Sorry, my gang knowledge is not up to snuff.
Oh, so now here's the deal. How funny would it be if all three teams?
Drew breaking news on Section 336.
It's this thing called Twiter. So here's the deal.
Oh, you can't believe it, though.
Oakland is staying.
Right, yeah, the Raiders are receiving an additional loan.
Yeah, the Raiders are staying
for a future stadium,
and it looks like the Rams are leaving. That's what they're saying now.
Now, if the Raiders get a new stadium, does that benefit the Athletics? Or do they still got to stay in that Coliseum?
O.co?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Poor team.
So now it looks like the Rams are going. Actually, in about 8 minutes, it'll be the Browns that go, which will be good, actually.
Keep them coming. Keep them
We'll have
coming.
4 teams going.
Everybody's going to LA.
Right.
There's a team for every gang affiliation in Los Angeles.
It's really, it is kind of sad. I mean, I guess it looks like the St. Louis will lose the team again, which is terrible. In San Diego, I don't know. I guess the people don't care. But
There's so many better things to do in San Diego than
true.
watch football.
But people still have supported that franchise. It's a lot like what Baltimore
It's been there forever.
People
yeah.
have supported the franchise. I hate to see teams leave.
But I guess
Yeah.
there's enough money in LA that the TV market's so high that you're going to get that revenue in. Plus, you've got the people who will just buy the seats even if they never go. That they'll be able to support.
You have a lot of high price
They
seating.
also, the stadiums can hold. This will be a natural place for the World Cup. If the U.S. ever gets a World Cup bid again, it's a natural place for the Olympics.
And LA is a natural place to have those things.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, there's, even though this is being created mostly for football, there's a lot of little tentacles to it that make sense, and having as many teams as you can throw in there. Now, I don't know if any of the college teams are playing. So it's done. Rams back to LA is done.
Wow.
Whether the Chargers join them now or later remains a question. But the Rams going back to LA is done. So there you go.
Okay, boom. Look at that, guys. We're covering it all here. If you guys don't mind, if Drew doesn't want to break any more news, can I get to my stay on the show spiel?
We're 20 minutes in.
Right. Okay. Well, this is how the show works, guys.
Let's do it.
Today on the show.
The Ravens have actually moved to St. Louis.
Oh, that's funny.
Holy cow.
That's amazing. And Jacksonville finally went to London.
Yeah, right,
it's all coming together.
Right.
Today on the show, two former Orioles find a new home. Josh's loyalty is called into question. We already talked about that. See, this is what happens when you blow up the show notes.
We can get back into it.
And Bert, and this is the big tease. This is why I want to do today on the show, because Bert's story time is back.
Heyo.
Back with a vengeance. People are begging. Every time I talk to someone on the street, they're like, "Where's Bert's story time?"
It's back.
Yeah, and I always tell them, "Wait for it. One day it'll be back. Today's the day. It's back."
Very good.
All right, but first, some Orioles news.
Did you even start with
Something magic happened.
introducing Drew and talking about what he's doing this summer with the trip to Boston
that's
stuff that we want him
Orioles
to promote? Yeah, that's Orioles
Could
related.
be
Go
more
ahead.
exciting than the news today.
It's
Yeah.
better than going to the Marlins.
Okay.
It's more fun.
I see you guys are insistent that I don't start the show. So.
Well, I just saw it ahead of your show notes in the top half, so making sure you didn't miss it.
Okay.
You guys have notes and everything?
Yeah, man.
We don't mess around.
I'm impressed.
It's the only way we keep it to an hour.
Okay. Oh, that's all we are is an hour? Okay, well, we better get going.
That's what I've been saying.
Well, we better get
You
going.
gotta get going.
Why is it only an hour? What's wrong? Why is that? That's all you can afford me?
No, we can go longer.
Can you?
We just try to keep it somewhat organized so we don't bore people.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
I
hey,
wouldn't want to do that.
but
What,
breaking news, we got to keep jumping in with some Los Angeles breaking news.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Redskin.
I mean,
He's going to give me a dig now, Mr. Redskin.
it's normally we talk a little Ravens, talk a little Orioles.
All right, we'll do that.
And that covers about an hour. No, but first you Drew, I want to get to this, Drew. You have a
right.
big trip planned this summer to Boston, and I want you to tell us
Very
about
excited.
that.
Yeah, we went to New York last year, which was really cool. Went to see the Yankees and the Orioles for 2 games. Stayed right in Manhattan. Had a great. We went up Tuesday. They played Tuesday night. We went up on Wednesday. They played Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon. Then the Mets and the Dodgers played Thursday night, which was really cool. And you two played at the Garden. I didn't go, but a bunch of the people on my trip went. So we had 37 people went to New York. And actually this year, they have a great series in New York in the same week. But I kind of wanted to do something a little different, and the dates worked out really well to go to Fenway Park. And I like doing these bucket list trips, things that people like. I have a trip going to the Masters in April for people that have never been to the Masters before. I have a trip going to the Palestra up in Philly in February for people who've never seen a college basketball game at the Palestra. So I like doing these trips that are legitimate sort of bucket list things. Like you might only have $800 or $900 to throw away on Fenway Park once.
Right.
So let's go up there and see 3 games.
And it's one of those things that everyone agrees with. You need to do this at some point in your
Fenway
life.
Park. I've done a bunch of these here recently. Like, if you're even remotely into golf, you got to go to the Masters once.
Right.
You just have to.
Right.
If you have never seen Army-Navy live, you got to go one time to see Army-Navy.
Agree, 100%.
It's an unbelievable event.
Yep.
If you've never seen a college basketball game at the Palestra, And geographically, it's easy for us to do because it's in Philly.
Sure.
You have to go to the Palestra. I was very fortunate to go to Hinkle Fieldhouse, which is where Butler plays.
Okay.
When the Super Bowl was in Indianapolis, which was a remarkable. It's where Hoosiers was filmed. It was a remarkable venue. So these things I like to do, and so I put this Fenway Park trip together, and I just think it'll be a blast for Oriole fans to go up there for 3 days. We're staying right next to Fenway Park. No cabs, you don't need a car. We get dropped off there on Tuesday morning, and we get picked up again on Friday morning, and we're back to the airport. So I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We got seats above the Green Monster. Get to see 3 games, and maybe we'll see David Price blow his arm out or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Everything about that trip sounds awesome. If you're listening, all our listeners who listen to this, they listen for the Orioles, so all of them, I'm sure, think would love a chance to do that. So
okay, well, email me at you can email me Drew at drewsmorningdish.com, and I will give you all the information. Or you can just go to my website, which is drewsmorningdish.com, and there's a little Fenway Park link up at the top, and all the information is there. Airfare, hotel, game tickets, and one of my sponsors, Harpoon Beer, is having a little shindig for us on Wednesday.
Nice.
So it'll be fun.
Nice.
yeah,
Yep.
it's a sweet thing.
So we're looking forward to it. Anybody wants to go, we'd love to have you.
All right, can I get to my Orioles?
Get to him,
Yeah.
baby.
All right, I'm gonna start with this, guys. All right, I got 5 things everyone knows about Chris Davis. All right, 5 things.
Sure.
These are the facts of the case. All right, just to review for everybody, there's no new news of Chris Davis, so let me just state the 5 facts of the case.
He signed with the Rams just now.
Yeah, right.
Wait, there's no Rams involved in this. Get the Rams out of here. All right, here 5 things everybody knows. This is not even debatable. This is the true facts of the case.
Okay.
The Orioles offered Chris Davis 7 years for $150 million, and that deal is still on the table. No matter what anyone says, even no matter what Dan Duquette says, that deal's still on the table. The second thing we know, no team besides the Orioles is even remotely interested in giving Chris Davis 7 years, $150 million. No one.
Okay.
Third thing, Chris Davis wants to sign with the Orioles, but his greedy agent won't let him sign with the Orioles. Everybody knows this is true.
Okay.
The fourth thing, Chris Davis is greedy for not making his agent Scott Boras sign the 7 years, $150 million deal.
Fire that guy.
So Chris Davis is greedy too.
Okay.
Fifth thing, the last thing everybody knows about this whole situation. The Orioles will not offer any other player on the planet $100 million. But the Orioles are telling everybody that they may sign Justin Upton. Not that they really will sign him, just to put pressure so Scott Boras will think that they would. But everybody knows, including Scott Boras, that they would never give anyone else $100 million.
Right, and the same
How funny
goes
would
for
it be if they gave
Cespedes.
Upton like $41 million for 1 year? If they just
Just to save some money.
just to stick it up Davis's rear end, like we've signed Upton for $41 million.
Well, in the end, that may be a better deal than $750 million.
Trout's going to get that for sure, right? In 3 years, I mean, he's getting $40 million a year.
Oh yeah.
Oh, easily, right? No doubt.
Yeah, we could be talking about numbers that will blow people's minds.
Right, no doubt.
Like Powerball numbers.
Literally Powerball type numbers to sign. Like, even to sign Manny Machado in a few years.
This real quick. Do you? And I'm totally serious. Do you really think they offered him $154 million? Do you really believe that? You think they offered him $154?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
believe
at the beginning of the offseason, I think they did. Before winter meetings, I think they did.
Okay.
I think there's too much talk. There's been too much talk about it that something would come out if they were lying about it.
Benefit the. But for the record, by the way, I don't think they did.
You think it's Oriole PR?
No.
You think Scott Boras?
Scott Boras PR.
Yeah.
Correct.
Interesting.
And the Orioles wouldn't be in a position to deny it.
Say no, we don't offer big contracts.
Yeah. They would not. And it becomes a game, obviously, of who's going to lie, and will the other party be willing to finger them?
Okay,
It's a bad term.
and that's fine. And that's a bit of a scary game, though, because if Chris Davis ends up, if that number is ridiculous, and everybody thinks the number is ridiculous, that much amount of money. So if he signs for a more reasonable, let's say $120 million, well, that makes like Scott Boras look like, oh, well, he blew it, right? Like that makes Scott Boras look like he didn't handle the situation well. He didn't get as much money as he could if he made up that large of a number.
I don't. I mean, look. Ultimately, if he gets a penny less than 154, Boras ultimately,
it's a loss.
It's a loss. And I would assume that part of the game he played was having some idea before the process started. I would assume that he had someone in his hip pocket who said, if it's in the 170 or 180 range, we're interested. And he kind of went with that. That would be my guess.
Scott Boras is pretty good at this thing.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
He's not just flying from the hip.
He doesn't misjudge the climate very much. Like, he doesn't misjudge the baseball economic climate. And if you look at some of the numbers these guys have signed for, the money's almost no object. It's just really a question of, does the guy fit in our team? The money, they all have the money, right? So the Orioles have never paid one baseball player. They have never paid a baseball player $100 million.
Right, but
never.
But a lot of teams have never done it and now are doing it for the first time.
I think you're wrong about that. I think almost every team.
Well, how about maybe the new number is $200 million now?
Okay, but wait a minute. But the Orioles have never signed a player to a contract of $100 million or more.
What was Adam Jones' last contract? 85.
I don't think I may be wrong on this. I don't think the Padres have ever signed a guy for over $100 million.
Right, but we all agree.
There are some teams that haven't.
But the TV deals is a relatively new thing, and so the salaries for all these teams are going up. So it would make sense that you would see more teams doing $100 million deals than maybe would have been able to before the TV deals.
I agree, but you'll always have to take into account who you're dealing with, right?
Sure.
Which he has been, and as the years go on, and Peter. As the years go on, I don't want to even say Peter is judged because he's been judged
1,000 times over
since 1993, right?
Yeah.
But as the years go on, and you look at, you could go player by player and say, was this a good deal? Not a good deal. Sabathia? The year the Yankees signed Sabathia, Teixeira, and Burnett, they gave those guys $400 million between the three of them. Right.
Yeah.
Well, sitting here today in 2015 or 16 now, it would be easy for us to say that deal was terrible.
Right.
But they won a World Series right away.
Right.
And in Steinbrenner's mind, at that point, that's all he wanted.
Right.
I'll give these guys $400 million for 7 or 8 years, and we're going to win a couple of World Series. Well, they won one, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would not mind being terrible for a while for one World Series.
Yeah, but I think Peter has. I think Peter has ultimately sort of said, and McPhail pretty much said this, if you go back and over when Andy was just getting started and kind of going through all the financial stuff that the Orioles were involved in. Why would you guys spend $95 million and lose? Because you're not beating those two teams. When Andy took the team over, it was just Yankees, Red Sox, Yankees, Red Sox, Yankees, Red Sox.
Right.
And you just weren't beating them, right?
It was to the point where we never thought we could ever compete with them because of the financial stuff.
Right. And Andy said to Peter, why would you spend $95 million and lose?
Yeah.
Just spend $65 million and lose. You're stupid.
Right.
All you're doing is just giving away $30 million.
Right.
Take your $30 million, put it in your pocket, draft better. The scope of what Andy really wanted to do now looks pretty smart. And it really wasn't that far off of what Peter's non-baseball plan. Peter's non-baseball plan was keep all the money, get a couple guys, get lucky and hit 300, and maybe we'll win. But ultimately, that's almost what Andy wanted to do. Right? He just wanted to do it kind of differently because it wasn't Andy's money. So now, 2016, I don't think Peter's mentality's changed all that much. Now I may be wrong, but I don't think Peter woke up when he was 84 and said, you know what? I've been cheap all these years. I'm going to start spending $150 million on players. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they wouldn't take him. I'm not saying they wouldn't give him $18 or $19 million for the one. I mean, they qualify an offer or whatever. I'm not saying they wouldn't pay him $18 million for a season. But I don't think the Orioles are a team that's going to give a guy $155 million. Sorry, I just don't believe it. And I don't think they lied about that.
Yeah.
I think Boras did.
Right. Then where is the story coming out about the whole Duquette's ready to move on, Showalter's ready to move on, the whole front office is ready to move on, but Peter Angelos isn't ready to move on?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, again, who knows, right? I mean, first of all, none of these guys really have any reason to tell the truth.
Right.
There's no reason at all for any of them to tell the
Oh,
honest truth.
just follow Twitter during the baseball meeting. You'll have stories come out that contradict each other all the time. We saw with the Davis. We saw
sure.
all the time. This is par for the course.
Right. So, ultimately, I think obviously they lost these two guys today. Well, the one guy, who cares, Parra. But, Chen had a pretty good track record in the American League East. People beat him up pretty good. Right. But if you look back at his numbers, I don't care. When you pitch in the American League and you make 32 or 33 starts and your ERA is in the mid-threes, that you don't do that by accident.
Right.
I'm sorry. In the American League, you can do that in the National League by accident. Right. You can't do that in the American League by accident.
Yeah, and he wasn't dominating. He didn't have dominating stuff. He wouldn't often go deep in the game, so I think sometimes he went underrated.
Right.
He had his flaws, but if you and everyone's kind of okay with losing Chen because we kind of knew he was gone from the beginning of the year, so we're a little bit more okay with it. But if you think about it, if you look at our starting rotation and you take away probably the best pitcher on a bad starting rotation. Whew,
well, here's the other thing too about Davis.
It's a significant loss.
It would be totally different if you were going to give him 154. Well, let's do it by season. It would be totally different if you were going to give this guy $22 or $23 million a year, and he could hit you 70 home runs.
Right.
If there was some mathematical equation to say, okay, well, you hit 45 for us, and we gave you $12 million. Now, if we give you $24 million, we need you to hit 65 or 70.
Right.
His level is his level.
Right.
If you're going to give him $23 million, he's still going to hit you 45 homers if he maxes out.
And you've still got to question that slump.
Yeah.
And we've seen really bad Davis.
So best case scenario.
I'm not one of these guys jumping up and down saying, God damn it, you guys got to sign Chris Davis. Like, I don't know, man. For $23 or $24 million for him. Now, for other guys, $23 or $24 million might make sense. Like, I'd have given the kid from Boston $24 million. He wound up getting 30. I don't know how to give him 30. I'd have given the pitcher that money.
Right.
But I don't know that I would give this guy $24 million to max out again at 45 home runs. I just don't know if I'd do it.
Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't blame them if they passed on him, is what I guess what I'm saying.
Right, but as long as they do something. I mean, right now they don't.
Well, you know what they're going to do.
They got to do something.
Yeah, Steve Pierce.
I hope not.
He's definitely going to be the first baseman.
I do keep watching that and kind of surprised Steve Pierce hasn't signed somewhere. And I remember that whole time a few years. I remember a few years ago when he got cut. Blue Jays tried to DFA'd. Blue Jays tried to sign him, and he turned it down just for the Orioles to sign him back.
Right.
So it makes me wonder if they told Pierce, just sit back.
He's okay if somebody gets hurt and you need a guy to play for 12 days. But
he's a 4A guy. We have those guys.
If you throw him in there for 150 games,
So Chen just signed with the Marlins, 5 years, $80 million. But after year 2, he has an opt-out option. Right. Everyone's getting the opt-outs now.
Right.
Is the opt-out something that maybe we present to Chris Davis? Hey, if you really think you can continue this tear.
No, and we've talked about this before. I don't need to repeat myself. I hate the opt out.
Right, it's all in the player's favor.
It gives it's a win-win for the player.
Already said.
Yeah, I think it's good. Good for saying it.
But didn't he already say?
Yeah,
he's not doing it. He's not doing it. He's not doing it.
But if everyone's doing it, you got to do it.
No, you don't. You just got to pay more money than everybody else. What? And the Orioles have no problem with that, right? Just pay more money than everybody else.
It's in some ways it's not. I guess fundamentally, it's not that different than giving the player the no trade option, right? You're still giving a guy like Hardy right now. They can't do anything with Hardy,
right?
Because he could just say I'm not going,
right?
But
not that anyone would really want him at this point either. But
right, but you're strapped to him now. You can't get rid of him, and in the same way that he has that measure of power. When you give a guy the opt-out, he has the power to just up and leave after 2 or 3 years. Right. And they're all doing it unless they really stink, unless they stink.
Right.
They're all doing it. So
all the top-of-the-line players are doing it. Because they can.
I think I don't know which one of you said I wouldn't, but I think I would pass on that too. Even though I think you said, Josh, you're right, that everyone's kind of doing it.
You're not going to get the good players because every player's going to ask for the opt-out.
Right. No,
why not?
You're right.
It doesn't hurt them.
I think I would just pass on it and say, we'll figure something.
I think there's a dollar figure. I think there's a dollar figure tied to the opt out. I think there's somewhat a dollar figure. So someone can choose. all right, I'm going to take the extra $10 million to sign with this team, as opposed to taking the opt-out, something like that.
Right. So
I
would
think
be
you can pay more.
That would make Boris. That's then how Boris can say, I said I was going to get Chen $100 million. He's worth $100 million, but I got him 80 with the opt-out.
Yeah, it's a great deal for Chen.
So I was still right and still got what I wanted.
Kind of, yeah. In some respect, yeah. All right, we got the other news, current news, other news, I guess. If there's any, I mean, the Chen's news, I guess.
If that counts as
isn't
news,
yeah.
yeah.
Why would he go to the Marlins, by the way? I mean, does he know they stink?
Well, it's only
Chen-
he's only going to be there
Something
until
got
they
lost
trade
in
him, right?
translation there.
Right.
Oh,
He gets to pitch in the National League.
Yeah,
And then
his numbers will
2
be
he'll
years.
have an ERA of 2.9. He'll get traded.
His numbers will be great.
And the Marlins will get something huge back for him.
He gets to face the Braves a bunch of times.
Right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, his numbers will be really good there.
Plus, we get to see him bat, and that's always fun.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, it is fun to see Chen bat. That's true, actually. I don't know
He
why.
might not know that. There's a chance he doesn't know that he's going to bat.
I'm not going to be the guy who tells him.
In spring training, when they're like, "Hey, grab some lumber there," he might say whatever time on ease is for. Really, dude, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely he might not know.
Yeah.
That could be a deal breaker for him.
It's hilarious to think that could possibly have
I
happened.
know, right?
Because if he's on Twitter, he understands how often his at-bats will be gift and...
Remember when they sent him down to Frederick to go down there because they were roster shuffling?
Yeah. Right.
And he thought he was getting demoted. And like
Right.
his translator guy didn't explain it the right way.
Yeah.
And he left with his panties in a bunch,
Yeah.
all mad. They're like, dude, we're just doing it so we
Just
can
roster
hide you
manipulation,
for,
yeah, yeah.
just for 2 days.
Well,
You know.
And that's
when
quite a
Scott
demotion.
Boras
Skip
got
triple A,
upset.
skip double A,
right.
every single A.
Right.
Really must have pissed somebody off.
Right. Well, that's when Scott Boras got all upset about it.
And that's when someone sent out a tweet. We're
someone
not sure
sent
who.
out a
Who
tweet
sent out
in
the tweet.
English complaining.
And
the
very
way-
good English.
I just got to tell you this real quick.
Does it involve the Rams?
No, it involves the Browns, actually. So they are interviewing Hugh Jackson for their head coaching position.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they interviewed him today. The owner of the team wasn't available, but he sent his wife.
What?
The Browns in a sentence.
He sent his wife to the interview.
So in other words,
One of those-
they're not really
Right.
interested.
Right.
Only the Browns. That's classic Browns.
Hugh Jackson.
What
was
a
sitting there
franchise.
waiting, and his wife walked in. She's like, "I'm here to interview you."
Well, that was like Major League with the
Yeah, right.
the
right,
owner.
Right.
It's all in Cleveland.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
right.
how Cleveland
That's a good
operates.
point.
Yeah, that's how Cleveland operates.
And they haven't cut Manziel yet, right?
No.
He's still just there.
They will, though.
Yeah, of course, Josh needs to get in his
Was there anything
Manziel
funnier
talk.
than
Everyone
him-
take a drink.
Anything funnier than him wearing that blonde hair and
Oh, that was the greatest thing ever.
Oh my god!
We talked about it last week. Yeah, that is one of the greatest things
The-
of all
the
time.
funny part is
and
that
putting
he-
Instagram of him in Cleveland.
But he was like,
It's brilliant.
He's posing for pictures with people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
Right.
in Vegas posing for
How-
pictures like he's Bobby Valentine in the dugout with the banana nose. And whatever.
He's got.
How can you be smart enough to read a playbook and understand where all the guys are running, yet stupid enough to think
he's
you can
terrible.
get away with that?
He's terrible. I mean,
I don't think
can't
he
play
ever
in the
thought
NFL.
he could get away with it. I think he
just
wanted to be
doesn't care.
caught. He just doesn't care. Yeah. All right. Hunter Harvey, Dylan Bundy updates.
They're supposed to be healthy, right? One of them's got to fill the 5-hole.
Yeah, I don't
Someone's
think
got to pitch.
neither of them will be filling the 5-hole. Bundy though could fill
Bundy
a
has
bullpen.
to be on the roster.
Yeah.
Has to be on the
Right?
roster. Yeah,
Yes.
I've been skeptical this entire time that he will ever pitch for the Orioles
Right,
this season.
Right, you've been saying
The Orioles are
pothole.
really good at hiding these guys in wherever they hide them. On rehab.
Right, questionable injuries.
Yeah, injuries, tightness
Stub my
somewhere.
toe.
Yeah. So I would be surprised.
Who was the one they made up for Jimenez? Remember when Jimenez stunk a couple years ago?
Yeah,
They made up an
he
injury for
a
him?
pothole.
That was the pothole.
Oh, right. He
was
stepped on a pothole.
Yeah. He was pitching so poorly.
He
missed-
we needed another pitch.
Right.
All of a sudden, pothole.
Right. 2 months for a pothole.
Yeah, Buck
Yeah.
brought him in and
Yeah.
said, "How's your foot feel?" And he said, "Oh, foot feel good." And Buck's like, "No, it doesn't either."
You stepped in a pothole.
Yeah, correct.
No, I feel fine.
Right.
Pothole.
Right, that was a good one.
Yeah. If they're gonna do this stuff, they should get real creative with it, though.
Oh,
You know,
no
I'd like to
doubt.
see some
Yeah,
real
sprained
creative
elbow,
injuries.
brushing his teeth, or torn,
Yeah,
torn
absolutely.
shoulder muscle from from putting gas in his car or something
Yeah.
like that.
But Harvey and Bundy, they seem healthy.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're not even throwing off a mound yet, right? They're just tossing.
Yeah, it's a little. I don't know if this is. If I'm
What,
reading,
what are we supposed to expect from Dylan Bundy? We saw him 2-3 years ago for a flash in the majors.
I'm telling you,
Is he a pitcher?
He
stop.
sure has broken down a lot for a young man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, expect nothing, or you're
Wink,
just gonna
wink.
get disappointed.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what to say about old Dylan.
He's going to come out of the bullpen this year. He's going to be on his pitch limit. I mean, he can't start even if he throws great, even if he gets all his skills and his velocity back. He can't start because he doesn't have enough. I mean, he hasn't pitched in innings. I don't know what his innings were last year. What, like 30? I mean, he doesn't. He's going to be, his max is going to be like 70 or something this year. So he can't be a starter. So it's going to be he's going to be the Jason Garcia role out of the bullpen, I would imagine. And hopefully Hunter Harvey comes back healthy. But again,
they made an injury up for him last year too, right, Garcia?
Yeah. He's a guy. He just disappeared. He just disappeared.
Like, his shoulders bothering him or something like that.
No one even knows what really happened to him. He just disappeared.
Right.
Drops off the face of the earth.
Well, that's when we saw his speed drop dramatically, and he didn't have that fastball anymore. And then it was arm fatigue.
Oh, right.
Arm fatigue.
You got a good memory, right?
Well, because it's arm fatigue. Everyone gets arm fatigue every day. It's not something to put you on the.
All of us saying we're tired at night.
Right.
Of course you're supposed to be. Right.
And we had Jason Garcia on the show a few weeks ago, and he talked about how he was overthrowing, trying to make an impression, and he did. He overdid it a bit.
Right.
But I'm sure. Tell me a guy in that bullpen in the middle of the season who's not experiencing some fatigue in that shoulder.
Oh, no doubt.
Right. He's been throwing the ball hard for his entire life.
And Buck, by the way, does a really good job. I mean, Buck's as good as anyone at shuffling those guys in and out, bullpen wise, right? I mean,
oh yeah, he's the man. He's no who's the guy in Washington that was just fired? He's no
Matt Williams.
He's no Matt Williams.
Oh my God, right.
But the so we agree, kind of no expectations for them. But maybe this could be something potentially next year, because goodness knows we're not going to sign a really good pitcher, so we have to somehow to use our boy McPhail grow the arms somehow.
So do we get a fifth pitcher this year, or do we do the juggling that we did like 2 years ago?
I think they're going to sign Gallardo. That's my.
You think he comes
prediction.
in? Yes. Yeah, they get him cheap.
He's not going to be cheap.
I don't know about that, but I think they're going to sign Gallardo. That's the guy that they're going after. Now, I don't know what they're going to do about having a left-handed starter.
Right.
I have no idea what they're going to do there.
They're going to have one.
Well, you know what they're going to do.
They've already came out and said we don't need one.
Well, you know what they're going to do. For sure, they're going to let Mattis pitch in spring training.
Well, they've let Mattis start like the past 3 years in spring training.
They're definitely going to do that.
Yeah, he can't do it.
Right.
He started a couple games, or at least one game last year.
And he looks good. In the past, he looks pretty good.
They always want Mattis and McFarland. Those are the guys they always talk about converting.
Well, because especially Mattis, he has the stuff for it, and that's why I was saying a couple years ago, #Mattis for starter. I was on that bandwagon.
Oh yeah,
because he's got the stuff. He's got multiple pitches. He can get batters out. He just
it's almost like it's a mental problem.
Don't forget we have Vance Worley.
We have Vance Worley. I think that's the most likely option at this point. Right. How sad is that?
There's three names that everybody keeps talking about, right? Pfister, Latos, and Kennedy. And I'm not talking.
Right, as far as free agent pitchers.
Off the radar screen.
Right.
Gallardo is legit. The rest of those guys are no good. But Gallardo is, he's a legit. I mean, he can pitch.
Yeah.
And he's going to cost them some money, whereas Kennedy would sort of kind of be just a stopgap guy. Latos would be a stopgap guy.
Right.
Like those guys. Those guys came to the American League, they'd get clobbered.
Right. But the good news about those guys is you might be able to get away with giving them just a 2-year deal, whereas opposed to Gallardo, you would probably have to throw a 4-year, 5-year deal at him.
I know that Burley has said, and it's because he wants to pitch in St. Louis, I'm only going to St. Louis or I'm not pitching. Once he stops playing that game, I wouldn't mind them taking Burley. Because I think his history, even though he didn't do it last year for the first time ever, his history is he's going to give you 200 innings. He's a workhorse. He's pitching the American League. He had a little brief run with Florida, but for the most part, he's pitching the American League. And he's durable, and he'll get some guys out. He's feisty. Yeah. And they're not going to have to give him $1 gazillion. Yeah. So and he's left-handed, and we don't have any of those guys.
Right. So. And what we're looking for here, we're talking about a fifth starter. I know our whole rotation is fourth and fifth starters, but that's what we're looking for. Another guy, another arm out there.
It's
you mean listening?
Dwindling.
I mean, that's what it's all about.
You mean listening?
You made
it sound like we're looking for an arm out there. If anybody wants to apply, send your resume.
That's why we're headed down to spring training so early.
Right.
There's got to be openings.
Right. Matt's got to try out.
I'm just saying. I got a few. I don't have the shoulder fatigue yet.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of time. Anyone?
You're not a lefty either.
The last bit of Orioles news is I think we touched on this a little bit, but Gerardo Parra going to the Rockies. Does anyone care that we did not I mean, we need an outfielder. Does anyone care
and-
that Para signed for $326?
No, halfway through the season, we'll forget he was an Oriole.
Man, he was terrible for us, wasn't he? We
Yeah.
traded for him.
He was
I remember
the
looking at his
best hitter
numbers.
in the NFL
Yeah, all
in
his
the
numbers were
NL.
amazing. He came to the American League, couldn't hit.
I said today on Twitter, losing Parra is like having someone steal the newspaper out of your driveway. You forget about it the next day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so many of these deals for guys are all about the league. I mean, these pitchers, if you're a pitcher and you don't, when you have your chance to jump to the National League, if you don't jump to the National League, you're nuts. Because if you're really good, your ERA is going down by a half to 3/4 of a run a game. You're pitching in a far more friendly pitcher environment, obviously.
Yeah.
And same thing as hitters. If you're and Parra's a perfect example. Like everybody thought, oh, we got this guy Parra. He was great for Milwaukee. He was terrible. He's perfect in the National League. Let him go back to Colorado. He'll have a nice year in Colorado.
Yeah.
Like he'll hit, he'll have a representative season like he was having in Milwaukee.
Most hitters have good years in Colorado.
Yeah,
It's a good place to go to get right. But we won't miss them. We won't miss them.
No. We've had past 2-3 years. We've had random outfielders. We put anyone out there.
All right,
Anyone can
you
play.
guys are telling me
outfield.
right now. But when we get to June and he's batting 350 and everyone on Twitter is like, I wish we had Parra.
Right, well, that would definitely happen.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it always happens, of course. But don't be misled by the fact that he's going to go to the National League and play well.
Okay. All right. So I'm not going to.
He will.
All right. I'm not going to miss Parra. I'm not going to miss Eduardo Rodriguez. All right.
just-
Good.
You are going to miss Travis Snyder.
Who?
What about Everett Cabrera?
Right, and David Lowe.
No, guys, we're not going down this route. All right. Hey.
We got Kim to be excited for. We signed one outfielder.
All
There you
right.
go.
We got
That guy
Kim
looks like
and
he might be
Jones.
pretty good, by the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, as long as he
That guy
can
looks like-
transition
no, that guy looks like he
to
might be
Major
pretty
League
good.
That's a
Baseball.
classic Orioles move right there. That's good.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, somebody was going to take that guy.
Oh, yeah. He's going to play in the majors.
Somebody was
He's going to play in the
take him.
majors.
Right.
All right. Can we get to a little what the people have been wanting? A little Bert story time action here, Bert?
That was it. Time?
I'm just jumping right there. Let's do it.
All right.
This is where Bert ruins it. Tells us all he's doing a story.
What? I was telling all my friends it's time for Bert's story time.
Yeah. Oh, I lied. It's game time.
That's not the same thing, Bert.
It is game time, boys
right.
and girls.
I apologize,
It's just
boys
where
and
he
girls,
makes us look
for
stupid.
lying to you.
This is what happens when I run out of stories 2 years ago and I'm forced to bring back games every week. The announcement came down last week about the Hall of Fame inductions of Ken Griffey Jr., Mike Piazza,
Yep.
and of course, along with that comes a speculation about which cap they're going to wear on their plaque. Obviously, by now we know that Griffey is going to go with the Mariners cap. Piazza is going to go with the Mets cap. But today, on Section 336, we're going to find out how well my co-hosts know the cap selections of previously inducted Hall of Famers.
Oh, I like
Okay,
this.
all right.
Okay?
This
So we're going to do
works.
3 short rounds.
Well,
I'm going to give the name of a Hall
I'm
of
about to
Famer
crush on this.
and 2 choices.
Yeah.
You can select one of the choices I give you or neither.
Oh, neither.
Yeah.
None of the above. I like that.
Yeah, okay?
Okay.
We'll start with Matt, and here's how we'll do it. Everybody will get a chance to go first. So I'll say the player's name, give you your choices. Matt, you can choose. You go first this round, then
Is
Drew,
there a prize?
then Josh.
I don't know how this works. Is there a prize?
I used to bring prizes, but then they weren't appreciated.
Okay.
But
There are no prizes.
no prize.
no
Just prize.
prize.
Bragging
Okay,
rights.
just bragging rights.
Oh, bragging rights. Yeah.
It's all good.
Oh, cool. Josh, give me the buttons here to
There you go. You can have the
to
buttons.
correct.
Hopefully they work.
And maybe, Josh, maybe we use a whiteboard for a scoreboard?
Sure.
All right. Here we go. All right, we're going to start with Matt.
Yeah.
The player you have
Presents.
first is Andre Dawson. Now, Andre Dawson, is he in the Hall of Fame as a Cub, an Expo, or neither?
Yeah. It's a Cub or Expo. I remember him a little older. I remember him with the Cubs more than I do with the Expos.
Sure.
And that's the first image pops in my mind. I don't know the year breakdown. I'm gonna say Cubs.
Okay. Matt saying Cubs. Drew?
It's the Cubs.
Okay. Josh?
I'm going to go with neither because I know it's not the Expos,
Okay.
and I need the point.
All 3 of you are wrong. It is the Expos.
I
Andre
thought the
Dawson.
Expos didn't have anyone yet.
He played 11 seasons in Montreal and 6 in
Enough with
Chicago.
the buzzer, by the way.
He also played in Boston and with the Florida Marlins for a little while. But
Right.
He had expressed a desire to be wearing a Cubs cap on his plaque, but the Hall decided that he would don an Expos cap.
Right, because it's not really the player's choice,
Way to go,
even
man.
though they pretend
Well,
it
no,
is.
I was with Andre Dawson. I was with the player there.
You know, it does make sense
Yeah,
because
but
he
you
is
guided
in.
us, the rest of us.
All right, well,
It-
that's
it
well,
makes
it's your
sense.
turn now. You can go first and guide the rest of the team to be wrong.
He is in the Nationals like Ring of Honor
Because
so-
of the Expos.
because he's an Expo. Yeah.
Right. And apparently his
Is it
quote.
really?
Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah.
They do that too, huh?
Yeah.
They're stupid like that? Unbelievable.
He was quoted as being It was gut wrenching to hear that he would not be enshrined as a Cub. He did not want to.
Well,
go
no
in
one
as
wants to be
Expo.
known as a Canadian.
Okay.
Or on a team that no longer exists.
Number 2, Drew.
Yes, sir.
Reggie Jackson, Yankees, A's, or neither?
Oh, my Lord.
I like this game.
It has to be the Yankees. He had a great run, obviously, with Oakland. And he had a really good run with the Orioles for that.
For that
Year?
That 1 year.
8 minutes. It's
It's a good 8 minutes.
got to be the Yankees, right?
All right, you're going to go with the Yankees?
It's got to be.
Josh?
Josh, go
Yeah,
neither.
it's
Stick with
gotta go
Orioles.
Yankees.
Yay. And Matt?
Well, one of us is going to get this right.
Okay.
So I'm going A's.
Okay. The correct answer is Yankees. He was a key part of
Son of
the
a gun!
back-to-back-to-back World Series titles for the Oakland Athletics, 1972 to
That
1974.
sounds like a Hall of Famer to me.
But he earned the moniker Mr. October during the
Yes,
77
I know,
World Series
I
with the
know,
Yankees.
I know.
You could have also said the Angels or the Orioles, but obviously they wasn't going in as
Right.
either of them. He was one of the few players to have his number retired by 2 different teams in Oakland and New York.
This is good stuff, Bert.
10 of his 21 seasons were with the A's, including coming back for his final season. But he was voted in 1993 as a Yankee.
I don't want to steal your last question, but your last question is going to be when Mike Messina gets elected to the Hall of Fame.
I wanted to ask you about that. Are you glad Mike Messina didn't get elected in?
I'm still conflicted.
I'm glad.
Back to the game. Josh, you're up first. Mr. Dave Winfield. Is he in there as a Padre, a Yankee, or neither?
Neither.
Okay.
I can't picture him
Matt,
in as either of those.
Wow.
San Diego Padres, New York Yankees, or neither?
Start off with
Winfield.
the Yankees, right? Oh. I think Josh is right.
I'm picturing a different team. I'm just blanking.
But you said neither.
Neither.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Neither.
That's the neither.
Matt saying neither.
Neither.
Okay, Drew.
Padres.
Drew is correct. The San Diego Padres. He had also played in California Angels for the Angels.
He's playing a bunch of different teams.
Minnesota, Toronto, Cleveland. But his development as a major leaguer came through 8 seasons
This
in
is
San
too
Diego.
easy.
He
See,
he was an RBI
this is why we
machine
don't
with
have
the
guests
Yankees.
on. This is why we
Right.
don't. We have guests. We invite them over into our home, into our beautiful
Hey.
studio, and then just
I
kick
got a
our
point.
butts in the game.
The speculation for why he chose the Padres is because he was drafted by the Padres in the first round of the 1973 draft, and he also played a major role in helping San Diego settle in as a Major League Baseball expansion team, which was just 4 years in
Did
the
he kill a
league when he
bird
was
too or
drafted.
something?
He did, yes,
Yeah.
with a throw in from the outfield.
Yeah.
Well, that was Randy
Yeah.
Johnson killed a
Right.
bird too,
That
right?
was Randy.
Yep.
Yeah, they both.
Well, right. Randy Johnson's the
killers.
one that exploded.
The bird exploded, yeah.
Yes.
It should also be noted that he had a rocky relationship with George Steinbrenner, like a lot of people. So
Gee, that's a shock.
that played into
Okay.
him not wanting to be a Yankee. All right,
I'm taking my sweatshirt off. I'm getting serious
this
here.
is getting serious now. Back
Let's
to Matt.
close. Let's
This is
close,
round
get
2.
serious.
Round 2.
How many rounds are there, Bert?
3.
Okay.
We can speed it up a little
All
bit.
right, I'll speed up my answers.
Randy Johnson, Mariners or Diamondbacks or neither?
Oh, that's got to be a Mariner.
Okay. Drew?
Come on, this is the easy one. I know this one.
Oh, he does.
I'm ready.
He's ready.
Whenever Josh sounds overconfident, he
No,
always
this
is
one,
wrong.
I got this one. I got it.
He's thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Voted in
I'm
2014.
I'm gonna say Mariners.
Okay.
It's the Diamondbacks. I think
Okay.
he's the first Diamondback, and they run around the stadium with him in one of those giant, like, president suits.
Josh is correct. The Arizona Diamondbacks. Randy Johnson.
kidding me?
He played
Yeah.
for 6 different teams: the Expos, the Mariners, the Astros,
But
the Diamondbacks,
the most of the
Yankees.
Mariners had to have been.
the
most of
Giants.
the Mariners.
Right, but he got to go in as the first for a team.
He had 11 seasons in Seattle. Listen to this. his 11 seasons in Seattle, 130-74 record, 3.42 ERA, striking out 10.6 hitters per 9 innings.
But he didn't go in as a Mariner. How many years did he play with the Diamondbacks?
He became dominant in Arizona, helping boost the D-backs to their first World Series
I'm aware
title
of
in
the
01.
Kurt Schilling thing. Yeah, I'm aware, but
I don't know how many years it was. I don't have
it
that.
wasn't 11.
It was a small amount.
But Josh
I
is
don't know
correct.
who makes these decisions.
He was the first Diamondback.
Sign me up for the Hall of
inducted-
Fame committee so I can
But
make
again,
these decisions.
like everything else with the Hall, it's not the player's choice. So the Hall wanted a Diamondback in.
The first Hall of Famer ever to feature a
Son of a
Diamondbacks
gun.
logo.
Man,
All right, Drew, you're first here in round
I got
2.
0 points.
Dennis Eckersley, Red Sox, A's, or neither?
Wow.
This segment's wonderful, Bert, by the way. This is good research on your part.
Thanks. I like to contribute sometimes to this show.
Well, that's good because normally when we got to guess, you're silent.
Boy, oh boy. I'm going to say A's.
The Eck as an A, all right?
Yeah, I'm going with that as well, A's.
I want to catch up, but I'm quite certain, like I've been certain with all the other ones, that it's A. That's the A's.
All three say A's.
The answer's A.
All three are correct. He was a starter with the Red Sox from 78 to 84, but when he went to the A's from 87 to 95, he was a closer. 320 saves for the Oakland Athletics. Of course, he'd also pitched for the Cardinals, the Cubs, the Indians. He retired as a Red Sox back in 1998. Voted in his first year of eligibility, 2004. Very good. All three of you get that one. All right. Josh, you're up first.
Okay.
And I just got to find him. Here we go. Greg Maddux, Braves, Cubs, or neither?
The Braves.
Okay. Matt, Braves, Cubs, or neither? Greg Maddux.
It's the Braves or Cubs. Now, using the theory of when he got really good and when he got the World Series, like we went with Randy Johnson, I'm going to go with the Braves.
Okay. And Drew.
Wasn't there something about him objecting to having... Wasn't there a story about Maddox objecting and saying, like, I don't want to be identified with either one? Maybe I was sitting at the stadium one day and I thought that would be cool.
It sounds like the Professor Greg Maddux going
Yeah,
ahead.
and I don't think we've had neither as an answer yet, right? That hasn't won yet. So Bert might be mixing it in.
You just got to wait for that neither.
Yeah.
It's got to be the Braves.
All right. All three of you say Braves? All three of you are wrong. Greg Maddux notoriously is neither. Rather than picking between the Braves and the Cubs, Greg Maddux opted for no logo on his plaque.
Drew, you even said it. You even explained it.
Guys, don't give me that.
No, you have to have the guts to actually say that as your answer.
I almost
explained the whole thing.
winked at him because he was so close. He was so close.
I got it right.
You stalled too long.
Your
I
explanation
supported
was
you.
spot on. Your answer was incorrect.
Shut up, Matt. Man.
We don't give points for explanation.
All right, so just to recap.
We don't need a recap. Everyone knows the points.
We enter the final round. Matt has
sick.
won. Drew and Josh both have 3.
I got to win all these.
You got to win all
Sick
3 of
about
these.
I got to
Matt.
lose them.
I'm sick about it.
All right, here we go. Matt, final round. Last chance to go first
Yeah.
here. Nolan Ryan. Angels,
Rangers.
Astros, or neither?
Ooh, neither.
Neither? Drew?
What are you?
Angels,
Astros?
Angels, Astros, or neither?
Now, Drew, go ahead and give an explanation for the right answer, and then throw the wrong answer there at the
Yeah,
end.
you better watch it. He's right. It's neither.
Okay.
Neither.
Yeah, all 3. That was a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
That is correct. He did go in as a Texas Ranger despite pretty much putting up all of his numbers
Gosh.
as a
I
Astro,
can't
as
believe
Angel.
I did that.
He won the World Series with the Mets in 1969.
Man.
But opted to go for Texas, despite he didn't even play for Texans until he was 42 years old. But yep, he is in there as a Texas Ranger, Nolan Ryan. All right, very good.
I can't win the game.
Drew,
I'm just showing up.
Drew's last chance to go
I'm playing
first.
for a draft pick right now.
So wait, we did a few.
The bonus is Nolan Rymel.
We did a
was
few
the game.
outfielders with Andre Dawson, Reggie Jackson, and Dave Winfield. We did a few pitchers with Randy
Oh,
Johnson,
he's got it breaking down by position.
Dennis Eckersley, Greg Maddux, and Nolan Ryan. Now, for our final 2 rounds, we
now
have
Jay Gibbons.
catchers.
Oh.
Gary Carter, Expos, Mets, or neither? Hall of Fame catcher Gary Carter. I remember I had his starting lineup action figure.
I'm very confident in this. This reminds me of the old. What was the old game that was Hollywood Squares, where they tried to
Oh,
buffalo
yeah,
each other. I'm very confident in this. They had no idea. I am very confident in this.
Okay.
Neither.
All right.
I'm going with the Expos because he is also in the Nationals Ring of Honor.
Fair enough. Matthew?
Yeah, I'm going with the Expos as well.
Okay. It is the Montreal Expos.
No!
Matt and Josh each get a point for that. Gary Carter also played in San Francisco and for the LA Dodgers. He wavered between the Expos and the Mets.
I wasn't confident, by the way. I was just trying to get you guys to think of it.
Yeah, it really worked. It was effective.
Right. Yeah.
This is another scenario, though, where the Hall of Fame made the call for him to
Again,
put him in with the Expos cap.
That's weird that they could make the call and override the players.
no,
Is that weird?
they make the call every. Yeah,
I'm not saying they don't, but I'm just saying it's a little weird.
It's their hall.
believe.
They get to put
I
Griffey
get
in and not you not.
All right, here, Josh, your last one. We have
Yeah.
another catcher. And since we're on video now, before I say the catcher's name, I'll do a hand motion, see if you can guess what the player is just by this hand motion.
Oh, yeah.
Drew's got it. Carlton Fisk,
All right.
catcher with the Red Sox,
Thought-
White Sox, or neither.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good one.
I thought you were the kicker for the Vikings right there. Neither.
Carlton Fisk, Red Sox, White Sox, neither.
It's
Matt.
one of them. It's one of them. Red Sox, White Sox. Oh man, I think he's. I think he's kind of more famous for being a Red Sox and less known for being a White Sox. I don't know. So for that reason, I want to say White Sox. White Sox. Actually.
White, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go White Sox.
And Drew?
Yes. Red Sox.
Red Sox?
Yeah.
Here's my chance to gain a point.
Sure. But you can't, because Drew is right. Boston Red Sox.
We're going to overtime.
You didn't work out a
I wish I
that
did.
question, did you?
Drew, you tied. If there's only was a way for you to get one more point.
Carlton Fisk always said the Red Sox cap was his favorite cap, and it had always been a part of him. But he's another player that had his number retired by both teams, the
yeah.
White Sox and the Red Sox. And it's interesting that Josh chose neither because he didn't play for any other team except for the Red Sox or the White Sox, so there would have been no.
Well, unless he pulled unless he pulled a Drew
Greg
response
Maddux.
to Greg Maddux, right?
Yep.
Decides,
Right.
Very good. So we end up with a tie between Drew and Josh at 5 points each. Unfortunately, the only tiebreaker I would have had out of the list I pulled this from was Frank Robinson, but that's too obvious.
Yeah, that doesn't really work.
No.
maybe
no.
on the old Boston
Right.
podcast.
It was a top
Matt
10.
would even get that one.
It was a top 10, so I took out that
I don't
one
get very
and
many,
was
right?
left with 9, thus 3 rounds of 3. So
By the way, it wouldn't shock me at all if Musina does get in, that he does the I'm not taking either hat.
yeah.
Now,
That's what I think he would
I could
do.
see that because he should go in technically as an Oriole, I would say. But I don't want the awkwardness of us having to recognize him as a Hall of Famer
Why
as
do
an
you think
Oriole.
he should go in as an Oriole?
Started his career, kind of built. I feel like he had his better years there. Kind of got lost in New York.
Maybe
What
it's
do
like
you think his win splits were?
I have no idea.
Okay.
well, it could be
but-
a scenario similar to Dave Winfield where he went in as a Padre because that's who drafted him and that's where he
But-
started his career, even though he put up his big numbers as a Yankee.
But could you imagine if we got to put up a Mike Musina statue?
We're not gonna put him in
So
Mike
he
Mussina's
won
stat.
8.
If he goes in the Hall of Fame, you got to.
He
don't.
won. He finished with 270 career wins,
Okay.
and he had 147 wins in Baltimore, and 123 in New York.
Yeah, sounds right.
There you go. We win.
Settled, done with,
But
over.
I think what he would say is both of those. My career was, for the most part, sort of split.
Yeah.
He was 10 years in one, 8 in the other, and I think he would just say, I don't really want to show favor to either one, so I'll just go. I would almost bet you he's one of those guys that says.
I mean, he's the type of
Plus
guy.
he's a weirdo.
He comes to the oral game and he's wearing
Yeah, he does.
a Stanford hat or something.
right.
So he's
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we've been to a game where they put him up on the Jumbotron and you don't know whether you should clap or not.
yeah, with that
Yeah.
awkward.
You're still pissed from when I was
like
15 years
well,
old.
he's on the Jumbotron. Former Oriole. I'm supposed to cheer. Wait a minute.
I don't think he's getting in, by the way.
I don't think he's getting in either.
He just went in the Orioles Hall of Fame 2 years
I
ago,
don't
and
think-
that was awkward to cheer for.
I don't think he's getting in. I mean, he got bumped up a little bit this year. So getting 75% of the vote is really tough.
It is. Yeah.
It's really tough.
Yeah. It is.
And I kind of don't think he's getting in.
Yeah. It'd be curious to watch. It'd be curious to see. All right. I want to Bert, thank you for that. That was fun.
Thanks.
Yeah. I want to, before we get out of
It was
here.
fun right up until I talked myself out of winning.
That was actually
that
the
was
part
the
that was
point.
the most enjoyable part of the whole thing.
Right.
I can thank the Washington Expos for my points.
There you go. Yeah, it pays to go to the Nats games every once in a while.
Yeah.
I see on the good old show notes we keep that there's some NFL talk. I want to skip all that if you guys don't mind
let's
and get
skip
to the
that.
Maryland basketball.
We can skip
Sure.
the ball bag. Let's get to Maryland.
All right. The most recent game, Bert, I know you saw, and they beat Wisconsin in kind of a. It was. I know Wisconsin's not great this year, but it was. Anytime you go on the road in the Big Ten and get a win, it's significant. The way they won,
Yeah.
they didn't play great the entire game, but when they needed the big shot, they got the big shots, and of course, the game-winning shot by Melo Trimble was pretty. It was classic, right? It was the announcer says, "Oh, he's too late. There's not enough time."
Yeah.
And then he does.
Don't shoot from there.
A simple crossover. Shoots from like 4 feet outside the 3-point line. And,
Nothing but net.
And nails it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Is it? I mean, if you haven't jumped on the Maryland bandwagon now, what are you waiting for?
Seriously.
Hop on. This is going to be. This is and will be a really special basketball. That doesn't feel like a special team this year.
Definitely.
Well, and now's the time to get excited because the Big Ten play has started.
Yeah.
Right. Even the night we're recording here on Tuesday night, we're playing at Michigan tonight
I think they're
at
losing.
9 o'clock. You think so,
That's
Drew?
my official
Yeah,
prediction.
his prediction.
I think they're losing.
If you think, Drew, there's we know about the strengths of the team. If you would say the way to beat the Terps, what would be your approach to beat the Terps?
Well, this perimeter shooting of the 3-point shooting of Michigan will be the one thing that might expose them a little bit tonight. Now, Michigan's looks like they're going to be without their best player.
Right.
And I just kind of feel like
You had that big win at Wisconsin.
Right. I just think they're kind of due.
Had a couple
And
blowouts.
if Michigan shoots at all, has any success at all from the outside, that's sort of the tonic that they're going to need. I think Maryland's very well set for a great run in March if everybody's healthy. But they got to get better play from Layman. To me, when I say he's the key guy, what I mean is you kind of know what you're getting from the rest of them. Trimble's sort of in and out, but in the last 8 minutes, he's in.
I would say in Trimble, not just in the last 8 minutes, but anytime like they're up by 7 and the other team and Trimble disappears and the other team comes back and tie or takes, that ball's coming in his hands. He's driving to the basket. Trimble is that guy when you need a shot. He usually takes it and he usually makes a shot.
No, I just think of all the guys, you kind of know what you're getting with all of them, particularly the guys that start. You know what you're going to get from them night in and night out, but Layman is just you never know. He might have – the other night he didn't take one shot in the second half.
Yeah.
It was like a hot potato. He didn't want the ball. He's like, I don't want to shoot it.
Yeah.
So I think they could make a great run in the tournament, but they really need 7 guys to all be hitting on 10, and he's one of the 7.
Do you think he kind of reminds me of the reference I always think with him, and not necessarily the type of player as his position wise and what they can do, but as far as kind of disappearing, he reminds me a lot of Terrence Morris. When Terrence Morris always had those high expectations as being, especially being junior, senior, he was going to be the leader of those really good Maryland teams with the Juan Dixon, the Steve Blake. That Terrence Morris was going to be a key, and Terrence Morris tend to. Being, I don't know what he was, like 6'9", 6'10", long, lanky, all the skills, but Terrence Morris would kind of disappear. Layman kind of reminds you of that. He has all the skills in the world, but he disappears at times. But, yeah, I don't know how much they need what Layman does. They have other guys who can do what Layman does. Hits the three, occasionally drives to the basket, rebound. We have other guys who can do that in place of Layman. Layman can take 0 shots, and we can still compete.
I don't know. We'll see. I think he is a really key component.
Yeah. The thing that excites me about this team is, and I would say the game we should have lost, and you have those games where you come out flat. That was the Penn State game. We had no business competing against Penn State.
They just handed the game to us at the end.
Yeah, right. Diamond Stone. I don't know what they were doing to try to defend Diamond Stone, but it's silly that they let him get 39 points. Right. I think about 20 of them were on foul shots. It was ridiculous. That's a game we had no business winning. Everybody was shooting and missing in that game. Everybody except for Diamond Stone.
It's amazing how many coaches, and Turgeon did this the other day too. Remember back last year, I went to the Northwestern game, and Chris, whatever his name is at Northwestern. Northwestern did this, and it's amazing how many coaches with 5 or 6 minutes left in the game try to kill the game. try to take the air out of the ball.
Yeah.
Turgeon did it the other night with maybe 6 or 7 minutes left at Wisconsin, and they try to just, we're going to eat the clock up, we're going to just take it possession by possession, we're going to limit this to 8 or 9 more possessions, and they get out of why they got, I mean, last year Northwestern was up, by 13 points on Maryland with 7 minutes left in the game,
right.
and this dude killed the game and killed his team's momentum, and Maryland chipped away. The next thing you know, it's an even game with a minute left, and now the refs are involved, and the same thing happened the other day. They do it all the time.
Yeah.
They change the way they've played for 34 minutes.
Yep.
And it's like the prevent defense in football. The old joke, of course, is what it prevents is you from winning.
Right. Well, yeah, it asks you, and not only does it keep you from scoring and get you out of your rhythm, but you've been playing a certain style of basketball. You've been in the flow of things, and then you go over the bench. Coach says, "Okay, slow things down." So you become less aggressive. You're not in the flow anymore, and then you're right. It just kind of sucks the air out of you.
Right. And I think naturally players, unless the team's specific style is sort of mandated to be slow and methodical, like the old Princeton offense, unless it's like that, these kids are 19 years old. They want to run.
Yeah,
they're built to run. They like pace. They want to run. They want to dazzle. And when you go into half court offense with a lot of these teams, it zaps the kids of their enthusiasm. And it only takes, if you're up by 12 points, it only takes you coming down the court 4 times and not scoring for the whole game to change.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If you come down and miss a shot, the other team gets it, it's a 3. You get the ball back, you turn it over, they hit it, they get 2, now it's 5. Now you're up by 7. You come down the court, you take a shot, you miss, they hit a 3, all of a sudden
and
the whole game changes.
Yeah. And they have the momentum and you're out of the flow of things. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But the thing, if you look at this Maryland basketball team, there's some things I really like. The couple things that make me nervous. Rashid Suleiman at times makes me nervous because he can be erratic. He can be he can make great passes. At the same time, he can make bad decisions, take bad shots, make bad passes. At times, he doesn't seem to be in control. That makes me a little nervous at times, Rashid Suleiman. The other thing that makes me a little nervous,
no good at the foul line.
Right. Is Carter at times. Layman sometimes disappears. Carter sometimes seems to think that every time he touches the ball, he needs to shoot it. Like when we come up by 7, Carter's going to shoot the ball 3 times, maybe make one of them, and we'll start to chip away at that lead, and then Trimble has to come back and rescue the Terps again. So I would like to see him be a little more unselfish, especially when the big man standing beside him is Diamond Stone, who I think eventually you could argue that Carter's a better player now, but I think Diamond Stone eventually will be that go-to guy down low. I mean, I like Carter's game. I like that he can come outside and pop a 3 occasionally. I think he's going to be a good NBA player because he's big and he can shoot. But I think sometimes he gets a little bit too selfish underneath. And so those are a couple things that concern me. But I tell you what, Diamond Stone, Trimble's ability, I haven't seen it since. Maybe he reminds me kind of Juan Dixon in the sense that Juan Dixon was a shooting guard, not the point guard position, but he was 100% clutch. Like every time you need a big shot, he was making it. Trimble has that kind of clutch factor. He's going to make the big shot when it matters. I think that's really important come tournament, really important come when you're trying to make a run at championship, because all those games are great against great teams. They all come down to the end. They're always close games, and you need guys who aren't going to shrink away at the spotlight, guys who will step up and make clutch shots, and Trimble's one of those guys. So that has me excited. And Diamond Stone, I'm telling you, every time I see him, the young man is better at basketball, right? And I'm not, I know basketball well, but I'm not an expert. But usually you can see like the evolution of a player from a freshman year to sophomore year. Like it's obvious to see Trimble how he's grown this year. He's just a better basketball player. He also has better players around him, but he's a better basketball player. But Diamond Stone, game to game, watch Diamond Stone, this big guy, run the court. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, he's sprinting back and forth. It doesn't matter if they're up by 20 against the Rutgers. He's sprinting back and forth every play. He's getting better.
Sprinting up and down too if you were getting $80,000.
He's a college basketball player. He doesn't get paid.
That's right. I'm sorry. I got it. I was mistaken.
Yeah. I've been really impressed with the growth of Diamond Stone. His ability, and they said this when he was recruited and when he signed, that he has an offensive instinct, like he knows how to put the ball in the hole. And like, what does that exactly mean? And just watch him, and he always finds a way to get the shot up and into the hole.
He's legit.
He's fun to watch, and he's just going to get better. And he has great hands, and working with Trimble, you can see that kind of chemistry just growing and going to get better and better as the season goes on. I could talk all day with the Terps. I think they're going to be a great team. I'll be curious to see how they do tonight against Michigan, a good basketball team. But it's going to be fun, and they're going to do some stuff.
I agree completely. I think they have a really legit chance to be a 1 or a 2 seed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When all the dust settles, and when you're a 1 or a 2 seed, you're in some pretty elite company.
You are
for that season.
You are,
no doubt.
I think for them to win tonight, by the way, Nickens needs to have some contribution in the game.
Well, yeah.
He's going to have to shoot a little. They'll need. It'd be nice if he could get 7, 8, 10. Like if they win tonight, 67, 60 or 76, 70, and he has 9 points, that might be the difference.
Yeah. Well, it's those role players. It often comes down to role players who you don't really think about. Can they contribute to? Because every night your stars can't do it all.
The win over the weekend against Wisconsin, we only scored 63 points. That's the lowest point total we've had all season. But Mr. Clutch come through at the end.
I mean, another aspect of, and people have mentioned this before, but we can win different types of games.
Sure.
Because we have the ability to score. We can put up points, but we can also kind of grind it out.
We do different
things well.
Aside from Penn State, the last 5-6 games have been, more than 12-point victories.
Yeah.
Aside from Penn State, I think it was 6 points, but
right.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Josh, do we have any time for the ball bag or?
No, we can get to that stuff next week. It is now, as Drew broke in earlier with the breaking news about the Los Angeles, it's now official that the Rams are going to L.A.
Right.
The Chargers have a 1-year option to decide to go to L.A. And the Raiders and the Chargers each get $100 million towards a stadium to stay in their cities.
Okay. And I believe you can take that money out because I believe to move, it's something like $550 million you have to pay to move, a moving fee of $550 million
So
paid
the Chargers
to the NFL.
can stay if they want.
If they want.
Or
in other words,
that's pretty funny.
it's time. It's right. It gives
a bit of an
San Diego
opt-out, if you will.
Right.
Right. It's a last Hail Mary from San Diego officials to throw more money at them.
Yeah.
But
Really weird. Sad day for St. Louis.
yeah.
It is. It is. It sucks. You never like to see that happen.
I don't know
30-2 was the vote.
I don't know how Nelly's going to handle it. The rapper,
Nelly.
St. Louis.
Oh, is
He's
that
a big
reference?
St. Louis guy. He's a Rams guy. All his music videos, he was wearing Rams jerseys. Come on.
Oh.
Didn't you watch MTV 10 years ago?
No.
I didn't either. But
I had to.
I'm sure.
and it's been more than 10 years.
I'm sure.
In the
they're going to sell plenty of merchandise for these LA teams.
Yeah.
I don't know my artist. In the show notes, you mentioned this guy David Bowie.
Bowie Bay Sox?
Yeah, from the Bowie Bay Sox, I guess. Is that the reference there?
But for a long time, I thought the Bowie Bay Sox were the Bowie. Yeah, I mean, as a kid.
Because
I
David Bowie?
knew David Bowie, but I
Right.
didn't know Bowie was even a place.
Yeah. I only know one David Bowie song.
What is that?
Is that embarrassing?
I only know about
What?
10.
Okay.
I mean,
I feel better.
I think that's the kind of generation before all of us.
Yeah. I'm not.
What's your one song?
Well, and because growing up, I was never a music kind of guy. I listened to the Shadow, the old time radio show. I listened to Art Bell and Coast to Coast AM, and on Art Bell, he would he did the late night show, talking about ghosts and aliens and other fun stuff. And in between the breaks, he would play like silly fun songs, and he played a David Bowie song one time called "The Laughing Gnome."
Okay.
So
I'm not
that's your
familiar with
song
that
you
one.
know.
That's the only song I know. It's called "The Laughing Gnome." A great song. Makes me chuckle every time I hear it.
The only one I know is sung by Homer Simpson.
Changes, time to change the oil. Changes, don't want to be an oily man.
Oh, that's David Bowie, huh?
Changes. I don't think David Bowie sang about changing the oil, but
Oh, the Simpsons twist.
yes.
The zany Simpsons.
Woozle wuzzle?
All right. Let's get to some thoughts, corrections, analyses, fun facts, clarifications from the intern.
He didn't even show up. Remember?
I tweeted at him and he dropped the ball.
We still don't know if he bought his spring training tickets.
Oh, his airfare?
So unless Mandy wants to jump in and correct us, I think we're all set.
Well, at this point, the way the airfare went for me, at this point, it's probably $100 more than we paid.
I got a deal, man. Just by getting
That was my deal.
I got in there 2 minutes before you guys.
Can I explain what happened that night?
Matt was logged in. He's just slow at the type in.
Can I explain what happened?
Yeah.
Now, to fully understand the story, we need to go back to the year 2003. 2003 is when I started, actually 2001, when I started dating my girlfriend, Emily. Since that moment in time, I have not done anything that involves anything pretty much living in the real world.
Yeah, I bought your airfare for you last year.
You did. I have never even bought my airfare before. I don't know how to pay any of my bills. Life is too complicated for me. I don't know. I get a paycheck every now and then. I don't know when I get my paycheck. I have no idea how much money is even in my paycheck. If anything happened to my wife, I would end up on the street in a gutter somewhere. I honestly do not know how to function in society without Emily. So a plane ticket was new to me. So I went on there.
I should have just offered to do it for you.
You should have. You could have gotten the points. I went on there, and I got on there. And I said, "Hey guys, you want to do this?" I think I initiated the conversation.
Sure.
So I got on there. So I'm on the page. I even got all the information in. It's all information's all in.
You have to put your name, your birth
I put it all
date,
in.
all that.
I put it all in, and I'm good to go. I don't hit send because I don't know how the seating works. I want to make sure I'm with you guys. I haven't heard back from you guys. About 15 minutes goes by. Then Bert says, "I'm done." I've been sitting here 15 minutes with the whole screen already filled in. Bert says, "I'm done." What? You did it?
Yeah.
So I said, "All right, cool." Click to send. No seats available at this price. What?
I must have got the last one at that price.
I had to go back in to charge me $40 more for that same plane ticket.
Yeah.
And then I filled all the information again, and then I bought my ticket. It cost me $40, Bert.
It pays to be a Rapid Rewards member.
No, and you need to just say, "Hey, I'm on. Let's all do it together."
Right. Remember, Matt and I were on, ready to do it, and Bert said, "Give me 10 minutes."
Yeah.
He gave Timmy 10 minutes.
He never told us he
And
was
10
back.
minutes later, I'm done.
Yeah.
What?
I have to tell you guys when it's been 10 minutes? Who am I, Emily?
I don't know how this works.
Well, I didn't know it was a physical 10 minutes. I thought it was just a wait a little bit.
This is because you never return any text messages.
I don't, because I don't know how to text message back, Mandy. That's why I don't return text messages. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Oh man,
It's a rough world.
I'm glad I got that out of my chest though.
I feel pretty good about saving myself $40.
Yeah. When we go now in the town, you're gonna buy me a beer, Bert.
And I got
We got
the
it.
points.
Buffalo Wild Wings is covering that $40.
Oh, there
we
we
figured it out.
Is Buffalo Wild Wings going to cover my bar tab?
Maybe a little bit. There might be a little bit left in the
Yeah,
Buffalo
I'll
Wild
take
Wings.
I don't think you've seen Bert drink before. That it will not cover that bar tab.
Yeah, the first couple rounds.
Yeah. All right.
Take us home, Matt.
I'm a little embarrassed I shared all that personal information though. I can do some things.
You can host a podcast. Pretty good.
That's right. That's some skills. I can't
Are we
really
done?
plug in my headphone jack.
We're wrapping up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still
music's
really
wrapping up.
down about the Maddox thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That one's gonna stay with you for a while.
I'm
Drew.
really- yeah.
That's not gonna go away quick.
I'm really.
Yeah.
And that's recorded. That's
right in the
that's
gut.
on the internet for the
Yeah.
rest of your life
I know.
now.
Yeah,
Drew.
I'm gonna and you know I'm gonna just find that little section and I'm gonna tweet it at you every day for probably the next month.
You don't know how to use Twitter.
That's true. I don't.
Right.
I'm gonna ask Emily to do it for me. And
you
Well, thanks for having me.
yeah, absolutely,
Thanks
Drew.
for coming out.
It was absolutely, it was fun. Well, I'm from Glen Burnie originally, so I got to go down Route 10.
Oh, yeah.
Right where I grew up.
Yeah.
So I got to wave at my old house, and
to go down
my
all-
car kind of almost knew. Well, it didn't really know how to get to college at all, but it knew how to get to Anne Arundel Community College.
Sure.
Right.
You got to go through and sit at 10 red lights on Ritchie Highway.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
always
yeah,
fun.
It was fun. So it was good. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, it's fun. And again, you can find Drew's stuff at drewsmorningdish.com.
Right. Email him about that Boston trip.
Yeah, it's an awesome trip.
Yeah.
And look for if you
Come
want.
along with us.
I want to go.
You can also you can follow Drew on Twitter. Drew, what's your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is kind of odd. If you watched Tin Cup at all, you will know that at one point they were getting into an argument about Kevin Costner hitting a golf ball off of a piece of wood in a pond, and his caddy said, "Come on, man, you can do this. It's a hooded 4-iron." So that's my Twitter handle.
There you go.
It's a hooded 4-iron. You have to be into golf to know what it means.
All right. I just asked for your Twitter handle. I didn't know the whole story. Just Twitter handle.
Shut up.
Some Twitter handles need some
Yeah,
explanation.
right. Like if I said to you, yeah, my Twitter handle is at It's a Hooded Forearm, your response would be, the hell's that mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I know, and I've been following you for a while on Twitter, and I never knew what that meant.
Yeah, right.
So,
There you
so,
go.
so, so now I know. Now I got a story.
Right. Now you'll actually remember what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you watch Tin Cup and you didn't watch it for the dirty part at the end with Costner and Rene Russo.
Oh, well, now I have to watch it. I haven't seen it, but now I want to watch it. See, the story didn't, and your Twitter does not make me want to watch it, but that.
Yeah,
Right.
the best part about Twitter is that it says the person's name,
Yeah,
like
right.
real
Well,
name,
that's
so you
true.
don't have to
Right.
know what the @ is.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Because I don't know anyone's
But that's
actual
me.
names.
Right.
It's like a gamer tag or something.
Right.
Well, now I'll remember Drew for that story about Tin Cup, and not remember him for the Maddox.
Who? What?
I forgot already.
You
Well, have
could-
a great time in Sarasota or wherever. Where is spring training? Sarasota, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Have a
sir.
good
Sarasota,
time.
yeah.
Have a good time.
Hopefully,
now.
hopefully,
Yeah,
there'll
hopefully
be
it's
some.
going to be a team.
Yeah, hopefully, be some players to watch down
Yeah.
there.
Right.
That's
We
the goal.
know Jonah Heim, who we talked to a couple weeks ago. is
Yeah,
gonna
we
be
didn't
down
even
there.
mention it. Yeah, excited
Chris
for
Davis might
Jonah.
not be, but Jonah will be down there.
Yeah, and I
that's
want
a big promotion for him.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I mean, I don't know. We need to get Alex Murphy back in studio because I want to talk a little bit of trash here.
Oh, Coward Hall kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Calvert Hawkins.
Yeah,
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 we've had him in studio before. But we need. But Jonah Heim has beaten Alex Murphy to the spring training invite.
Yes, he
So
has.
this is the competition. The
Yeah.
And I don't think Chen Cisco was. Was Chen Cisco? I didn't.
No,
I didn't
and
think Chen Cisco got
Jonah
invited
is
either.
down at the mini camp now.
So great for Jonah.
Yep.
And now I hope Jonah talks some trash to Chance and Alex, two guys he was drafted with. You got to go a little fast track now. Good
There
for
you go.
Jonah.
Right. That's why Jonah was so humble a couple weeks ago when you asked him to compare himself to the other catchers.
Yeah. Well, he didn't know then when we talked to him, and I guess from what I read on Rock's blog, when Buck told him about it, at first he didn't understand. Like he thought, oh, what? Yeah, I'll show up and then I'll go back to my minor league camp. Like he didn't fully understand that he was.
Oh, he thought he
getting the
was
actual
just
invite.
there just to catch for a few
just to
pitches
catch-
and leave.
Yeah, I guess in the bullpen, hang out, and then go back to the minor league camp. But yeah, so he didn't realize that first. And then he
Well,
was super
I'm
pumped. Of course,
sure
he
his
would be.
grandmother on Twitter is really excited.
Oh yeah. She already commented at Rock when Rock announced it. Check it out. Yeah, absolutely. I think it was there. It was a Heim. All right, boys and girls. Thanks for listening. Like us on Facebook. All the normal stuff we always say. Write us a review on iTunes. Subscribe to our new YouTube page. You can, if you listen to us, you can go back and watch us. You can see how fat Josh is in real life,
That was
which is
funny.
awesome.
It is fun that you can comment on the YouTube videos. Kinda, since
let's
people
keep it
have-
nice, people.
Yeah, since you stopped sending notes on iTunes, you can now send notes on YouTube.
There you
Yeah,
go.
absolutely. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow the show at Section 336 Show. You can follow me at Section 336. You can follow Bert.
At Bert Rohde.
You can follow Josh.
At Josh Soroka.
All right, boys and girls. Thanks for listening. And as always, go O's.
Section 336 is a affiliate of